Hey guys, Zangetsu 134 here, bringing you another Kamen Rider vlog. I know it's been a while. I don't really have a good reason, just kind of got ahead of me again. But I think I'm going to try and do a little bit better in catching these up, since I'm in a decent place. So, yeah, we're on episodes 25 and 26, the Another Zeo arc. Well, technically Another Zeo part 1. Yeah, we'll say Another Zeo arc part 1, since it's technically 4 episodes, but it's kind of important. Basically the introduction of a new, another rider, and more about what's going to happen on the day of Omazeo, as well, of course, at the end of the last episode, the second episode, the birth of Gates Revive. So, basically, at the beginning of the episode, the Timejackers notice a star known as Regulus. The brightest star in the constellation of Leo is glowing bright. Later we find out that that's known as the Star of Kings, usually that it means that a new king will soon be born. Obviously meaning that we're getting very close to the day of Oma. It's very odd that it's glowing because at the time that this episode came out, it was March. That star doesn't really get shown over Japan, I guess, in April, according to the show, the episode. I could be wrong, they could be wrong. I'm just going by what the show's telling me. So, with this, Schwartz sets out to find a new candidate to become another rider, and he does so behind Wool and Aura's back, mostly because, as Wool goes on to believe, he is more than likely after a he has his own plans for this new rider. While this is all going on, a mysterious another rider who appears to be another X-Aid is attacking the basketball player that turned into Kamen Rider another build, and absorbing his power and becoming another build. As this is all going on, Sogo is having dreams of the day of Oma when him and Yates would confront each other for the final time, and deciding if he would become another Zeo, or if Zeo would become Oma Zeo, or Gates would defeat him and bring forth the future White Waz comes from. Eventually, both Black Waz and Sogo come across the another rider, who Sogo's able to defeat as another build, but then he quickly turns into another X-Aid. This, of course, means that he's been stealing the powers of another riders, which is odd, as Black Waz points out that when Sogo is supposed to defeat another rider, it should take out all traces of that another rider, which it's apparently not. I don't think they actually go into why that's happening, but you never know with this show, and I'm assuming that that'll be explained in the next 2 episodes, which I'm going to watch. I might try to watch now, because this was actually a pretty good 2-parter. But anyway, and so basically the two confront it and are able to defeat another build, but unfortunately cannot defeat another X-Aid. And so Black Waz lets him and another build retreat, or him and Zeo retreat. And on note there, Sogo fights him as Zeo and then uses his build armor. I'm not entirely sure why he didn't just go into Zeo 2. Maybe he just decided it would be better to test if his suit against, or that power against this new build, or another build, or maybe he just decided to go with what worked in the past. Pun joke not intended. As the two retreat, White Waz points out that there's someone stealing the power of previous Nether Riders from the past Another Rider contractors. As this is happening, Sogo figures this out himself and decides to go to the guy who became another wizard, knowing that he'll most likely become the next victim. It's here we establish that due to Zio and Geiz' meddling in history, most of them don't remember who these two are, which makes Sogo kind of happy. And him and Black Waz have a conversation about how Sogo kind of deep down is excited for these attacks, and Sogo does feel bad about it, but mostly because it means he can see Geiz and Tsukuyomi again, as they're basically his only friends. As we established in the last two-parter, how he really had no friends save for the toy robot he had, which gave birth to Commodore Kikai. I'm just apologizing for the vibrating on my phone. I have some friends discussing something in our group chat. I apologize for that. I don't know if it's gonna show up on the phone, but I'm 6 minutes into this recording and I'm not gonna stop it. Yeah. Oh yeah, and so basically, due to this, the guy freaks out, and Soga realizes he kind of made it worse, and he goes after him, only for the guy to be confronted by a man known as Hiryu Kakogawa, who apparently who is the one turning into all the past riders, and he seems to have a mad-on for Sogo. Which isn't revealed here, as him and Sogo fight, and Sogo going into Kamen Rider Zeo 2, or no, actually no, he tries to, but before he can do that, Kamen Rider Geiz shows up and fights him using the X8 Ridewatch, as he has turned into another X8. As the two fight, Geiz tries to use the finisher of the X8 armor, but it apparently fails, and so Geiz, and while they manage to fight him off, Hiryu decides to retreat, basically telling him that Sogo, that him and Sogo, who he is, and that the two were fated to cross paths countless times. While this is all going on, Tsukuyomi goes to Sogo's uncle, and the two of them have a discussion, and she finds out that Sogo had been in a bus accident in the year 2009 when he was about 10 years old, and his parents were killed in that accident. Tsukuyomi goes into the past to figure out what's going on, and due to her snooping, finds out that both Sogo and Hiryu are the only survivors of the crash. It might be that there were other survivors, but it's unknown in these two episodes what happened. And so Tsukuyomi goes in the past and witnesses Sogo being picked up by his uncle, and Sogo's uncle, of course, on that day decides to take Sogo in and take care of the boy, which is at least touching in the fact that Sogo's uncle does really care for him. This seems to upset young Hiryu, and he blames Sogo for the accident that led to the death of his parents and the death of everyone on the bus. Which we find out later. While this is going on, Sogo once again confronts Hiryu, who has once again tracked down the another wizard victim, who, either due to him trying to absorb the powers of another wizard, or just maybe running into Sogo, it has unlocked the memories he had of becoming another wizard. I'm not entirely sure what exactly it's there. I'm kind of assuming that basically Hiryu, while absorbing those powers, he didn't completely get them. He managed to unleash some of the power locked within the man, and it gave him some of his memories back. Or it might also, now that I'm thinking about it, it might also be that, much like how when Sogo comes across a past rider, it awakens some of their memories as a previous Kamen Rider, especially when he wants to make the armor watch. It could be that when Hiryu makes another watch, he awakens the another rider's past memories. Um, that might have been what they were trying to imply there. It would have been nice if they brought it up a little bit more, but it's whatever. So basically, Sogo fights him, and Hiryu eventually just tells him, because Sogo doesn't remember why this is all happening, and so basically tells him that there was an accident that killed his parents, and a woman in white, Tsukuyomi, attacked them on the bus, and that was what caused the accident. As this is going on, Gates decides to go as well, thinking that perhaps that it wasn't an accident, and also he's having trouble with all this because during a previous encounter, both him and White Waz fought him, and he revealed himself as Kamen Rider as another Zio. Basically, Schwartz has decided to make him the Dark King, who will unite all the another riders together as Kamen Rider another Zio. I keep saying Kamen Rider another Zio. As another Zio. And basically, he needs to unite his powers as well in order to make himself stronger. And so basically, Gates goes back to the day of the accident, and he sees that Tsukuyomi has gone on the bus and tries to assassinate Sogo, which leads to the bus crashing and exploding, and appears to lead to Tsukuyomi's death. This enrages Gates, which finally gives him the power to unlock the Gates Revive Ridewatch, as previously he couldn't use it because part of him did not want to defeat Sogo, as he had believed that Sogo couldn't possibly become the monster that another Zio, or that Oma Zio, could become. While this is all going on, Sogo once again tries to fight Hiryu, and of course the two of them cannot actually defeat each other, as their powers are the same thing. But unfortunately, basically because you need the power of the same rider to defeat another rider. It also means that the same is vice versa. So that means that another Zio2 does not have the strength to defeat him. Made worse by the fact that because Zio's power has evolved, another Zio can also see into the future, much like Zio2. So basically, the two are fighting to a standstill when all of a sudden Gates appears, and with his rage unlocks the Gates Revive Ridewatch, and finally transforms into Kamen Rider Gates Revive. And I have to admit, I really like the look. I like the fact that it's basically just Gates with a lot of armor. I love the hourglass motif. I like the Ridewatch. Although, a tip if anyone wants to buy the toy, if they're interested, apparently due to its construction, the chamber has a bunch of beads in it that acts as sand. Whenever you turn the Ridewatch in the slot, it's supposed to have sand fall down, revealing the form that you're using. But apparently the sand in it, well, the beads, basically the beads plus the chamber, the way it's designed created a very powerful static generation, which makes it so that the beads stick to the glass, well, the plastic, and it makes it unable to have them go down through the slot. I want to say, yeah, Japanime, the YouTuber, he actually did a video on how to fix it. Basically, you have to take it apart and apply a fabric softener to both the plastic container as well as all the beads. You basically have to pick the beads up with a fabric softener sheet and rub it with that, and that should eliminate the static cling issue. Getting back to the show, basically, Yates makes short work of Zio2, which leads to Schwartz taking Zeo, or not Zeo2, another Zeo, and leaves Gates revived with another Zeo, and basically another Gates has decided that he will use this power to defeat Zeo on the day of Oma and bring about the good future for Tsukuyomi. And basically the two have a clash. Basically, Gates Revive's power is split into two forms. Gaoretsu, which translated here by the subs means fury, and Gates Revive Shippu, basically typhoon. Both are reference to the survive forms of Kamen Rider Ryuki at night, and is also typhoon Shippu meaning typhoon, a reference to the original Henshin belt of Kamen Rider Ichigo from the Showa era. In fact, usually wind and typhoons play into Kamen Rider stuff a lot because of that. Kamen Rider Double, for example. I don't know if that's all much stuff for other past riders, but it works here. So basically, Gaoretsu is fury and the power, the strength and power needed to defeat Omazeo. Using the, I forget what it's called. I think it's the Zekon Claw. Yeah, the Zekon Jaclaw, or I guess Zekon Zaclaw, or Zekon Jakuro, as it would be pronounced in Japanese. Which also has two modes depending on which mode he uses, and funnily enough, it actually switches hands depending on which form he is. In Gaoretsu, he uses the Jaclaw in his right hand, and it's in its buzzsaw mode, which basically allows it to be like a super fast blade that will cut and slash through Zeo. And at first, he has Gaoretsu's power overpowers Zeo2, so Zeo2 goes to using his the power of the claw hands that are where his eyepieces are, as they allow him to see the future, and he gains a slight moment of upper hand on Gates Revive until Gates Revive spins the Revive Ridewatch so that it flips to the other side, revealing Gates Revive Shippu, which allows him to move faster than time itself, allowing him to move faster and get past Zeo2's predictions, which is really the most powerful part of it. When this happens, he also switches the Jacklaw to his left, and it becomes the Z-Claw, the Z-Claw Sume mode, or Claw mode, which gives it, like, talons. I think it's kind of supposed to be like he becomes kind of like an eagle or a bird of prey. And this allows him to not only move super fast, but it allows him to fly, as the armor parts that become Goretsu split open and become wings for Gates Revive in his Shippu mode, which, again, I think is a reference to Kamen Rider Knight Survive. He, I think, reveals both of his finishers for this mode. The charged version of the G-Con's Zaclaw, and its saw mode, and then its claw mode, which allows him to move rapidly, super fast, and deliver 100 slashes with the claw in rapid succession. And then Gaoretsu creating a super powerful punch that sends Zeo2 flying through a wall. While this is happening, Black Waz goes to the bus depot that the bus company that ran the bus that was on the day of the accident, and looks over the bus's registrar to see who was on it, and he notices that one person was Sadoya Tsukasa, or Kadoya Tsukasa, aka Kamen Rider Decade, and the episode ends with the two of them clashing. And that's the two-parter. Overall, I really like this episode, this two-parter. I really liked the build-up to Gates Revive. I like Gates Revive in general as the look. I like when riders' forms are split into two, much like Kamen Rider builds Rabbit Rabbit and Tank Tank full bottle modes. Um, I liked Sogo going through dealing with the fact that his friends no longer want to be his friends. I like the mystery behind another Zio, and I like the infighting between the Time Jackers here. I really like the fact that Wool is distrusting of the two of them, as they had both kind of messed with him during the last several arcs. And I really like the building up of Gates and Sogo's eventual fight on the day of Oma, and the lead into all of the characters who have been either trying to prevent Sogo from becoming king or trying to help Sogo become king. And there's a lot more trying to prevent him from becoming king than there are of him wanting to be, of them having him become king. I just liked a lot. I liked another Zio. I like the fact that that he has like a dark version of the Ziku driver. I actually really like that his finisher is that he's instead of like Soga always uses his left hand to do all of his finishers. I like that instead of spinning the Ziku driver, he slides it across to reveal the time of the that he's using. In this case, 2019, when he's as another Zio, in reference to the fact that that was the year he was born. Which is weird, because technically it should be 2018, since that's when Zio was born, but I guess it's supposed to imply that he's in another rider, and that that's when he was born, or something. But yeah, overall, I think it was really interesting. It has a few... I don't think it really has like anything really bad to it. I think it's really fun. I like the action in it. And overall, I just think it was a fun two-parter. So yeah, I'm gonna try and get the next part out here in a couple of days. I at least want this to have a couple days to sit. Um, I do think part of the reason why I waited a little bit more was because I wanted Captain Marvel to get more time, since I did a movie review. Then just work can sometimes make it hard for me to really want to do recordings, but I'm glad I got this out. I'm glad I finally watched this two-parter, and so now I'm looking forward to watching the next two-parter. So that, guys, I'm Zangetsu 134. I thank you all for waiting. I know I haven't gotten to the Godzilla stuff. I'm trying to get to it, I promise. But otherwise, guys, I will catch you when I catch you. I'm Zangetsu 134. Take care.